The shortlist was with a I don't know whether it was DCAS or DGS here in Manhattan. Okay, so Dan goes to the interview, comes back, because I asked him, "Do you need anything? You need anything for us to help you prepare for the interview?" No, we were just told to come and speak about the firm for a few minutes. I said, "Okay, fine." He comes back. I said, "So Dan, how'd the interview go?" He goes, "Sally, it was awful." I said, "What happened?" He said, "There were about 10 people on the team. Each person said a few words about their firm. And after they did the selection committee question, the first question was, okay, what do you know about firehouses and morgues?" The lead firm never told anybody on the team the specific project types on the on-call contract that they were going after. And so they all went there just saying a few words about their firm. Now, you know, Dan Cecil went there talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So how inappropriate was that for an interview to work on projects at dorms and morgues, or morgues and firehouses? Anyway, you got to rehearse together for exactly this purpose, because I believe if a group of people came together, they would have said, well, what kind of projects are on this on-call contract? What kind of facilities? And that would never have happened if they had had a rehearsal section. Okay, the other reason is you got to get familiar with the props. I don't know if any of you know Leslie Robertson Associates, but Les Robertson is a tall, white, Caucasian male. Satine C., the minority woman owner of the firm, is shorter than me, Asian woman, okay? They were shortlisted for a high-rise building, and the other project manager who was on the project was also a white male, you know, big guy. Okay, so the three of them are going to an interview. And this was before PowerPoint. So they were going with photo boards. And they asked me to come in and watch them practice. So I went into the practice session, and Satine, as Les was speaking, was moving the photos. You know, she'd put the photo up and then move the board to the back. So when they had a break, I stopped and I said, I think that I would recommend you go in early before the interview and pin all the photos up on the board and not handle them the way that you're handling them. And Les said to me, why? Why would we need to do that? I said, because she looks like the magician's assistant. It didn't make any, he got very offended because he said, well, I mean, I would be doing the photos when it's her turn. But I said, it doesn't matter. It's the impression that you're creating. She is the owner, the 51% owner of the firm, and she is the managing partner. And she looks like she is just a lackey in the proposal process. You don't want that. So the fact of the matter is, they did go to the interview ahead of time. They did pin up the photos, and they did win the project. So I was very happy when that all turned out the way that we wanted it to. But another reason for rehearsal is that you got to, the logistics of what you're actually doing with anything becomes apparent that when something's awkward or it's not working, and you want to fix that in a rehearsal stage, not at the actual presentation. Now, I think we're getting near the end. I can tell everybody is probably just bursting because I know I can't sit that long. You want to have somebody observe your presentation, okay? That somebody should be taking notes about people's nervous habits, should be taking notes about where things are working, phrases that are being said that should not be mentioned, okay? Somebody should be taking care of all that. And also, you might want to try videotaping as a practice, but the other alternative is to keep people moving, keep them on time, okay? So that's why you really need somebody monitoring the presentation. And as I mentioned, sometimes we can correct each other in a firm, and people can get better with the more practice that they get. But there are some people who are critical to an organization's success, but they're not good presenters. And those people might need a little extra help. If there's anything that I could recommend you spend your marketing dollars on, if that's the case, where you have a key individual who's really smart and totally important to the interview, but they're just not good presenters, invest in getting them some training. Because with a little bit of training, they can be brought, they might never be, show people, they might never be really comfortable up there, but they have to get better and they have to improve because they're so important to the process. Okay, so after the interview, you should send a thank you letter restating your strengths, maybe addressing a point that might have gotten left out or brought up in the Q&A, and it's your last opportunity to say, we really want the project. And by the way, don't ever forget that. If you're going into even just like a meeting on your own, say, we really want to work with you. We really want this project. It's very important to express that, and a lot of firms forget to do that. Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the debriefing. As Dawn mentioned earlier, people now are requesting debriefs even if they've won, to make sure that they understand what they're doing right. You might want to get a debrief one way or the other. Now, here's the thing. If you can get someone else who was not involved in the presentation to make that debrief call, I think it's important. Why? Because people might be more candid with a third party. So for example, if I attended the interview and I came off as stiff and unknowledgeable, and I call the selection committee up and say, why weren't we selected? They may not want to say that to my face, but if I have someone else call on my behalf, they might be more willing to say, look, your principal in charge was too stiff and didn't come off as knowledgeable about the project. Okay, so you want candor. There's no point in getting a debrief if you're not getting an honest reaction. You ask for genuine honesty, and there are 4 key areas. Dawn said ask questions. Here are the kinds of things that I think you want to ask questions about. Did we convey that we are technically competent? Did we communicate well during the interview? Did you feel we were a firm that could communicate well? And did you understand the working relationship of everybody on our team? And finally, it's your opportunity to talk about future opportunities coming up, even if you didn't get this one. Express your interest in future opportunities. The important thing in the debrief is never to get defensive and never to try to explain. The debrief now is all about taking the information that's being presented to you. Okay? It's not your opportunity to say, okay, well, you misinterpreted what we said. Okay? No. You just realize that this is how we came across. Next interview, we have to make sure that we change that. We don't say that. We come off differently. All right? So, there you have it. I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you.